Yes, we are having overwhelming response for this session. Almost our meeting room is full. Almost we reached 100 participants. Okay. So today we are having our speaker, Professor R.N. Kale sir. He is currently working in the College of Pharmacy, Malegaon, Baramati, District Pune. He has completed his B Pharm in 2001 from SVPM's College of Pharmacy, Malegaon, Baramati. Later on, he had completed his M Pharm from University Department of Chemical Technology. That is, it was formerly known as UDCT. Now it is known as ICT, uh, which is affiliated to the University of Mumbai. And he's been registered for the PhD with Acharya Nagarjuna University, Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. He has received JRA Fellowship of AICT New Delhi, and till date he had guided around 8 M students. He is currently holding the responsibility of head department of pharmacognosy at his institute. His total teaching experience is around 16 years, which is quite huge, and definitely we are going to be we are lucky that such a experienced person is going to guide us on the topic related. Most of the GPAT is related to the teaching as well as and all his teaching experience. Definitely, we are going to get benefited from his talk. He has taught around several subjects to the UG as well as PG level, like pharmacognosy, natural drug technology, natural drugs, as well as analytical pharmacognosy and extraction technology at UG level, and research methodology at PG level. He is not only associated with the teaching, but he is also good at research. And as a sign of it, he is having around 10 research papers, and he had presented his research around in 11 conferences. He had attended several conferences, workshop, and FTP. The total number is around 25, we can say. So, such an eminent personality we are having today with us. So, without wasting time, I would like to request him to start up with the session or to uh, guide our student regarding how to prepare for the GPAT examination. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me share my screen.
I will stop sharing.
Shall I? Yeah, you can stop so that I can share my screen.
Yes, sir. You may share.
Yes, yes, I'm trying, sir.
Okay. No problem.
Just a minute. Sir, is it visible? No?
Yes, sir. It
Yes,
is
it is
visible.
visible,
Clearly
sir.
visible. Just you have to run to the slideshow. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Is it correct now? Okay,
Yes,
no
yes.
problem.
Over to you, sir.
Okay, very good morning to all of you. First of all, I'm very thankful to Principal Dr. R.B. Jadhav, sir, for inviting me for this seminar. I'm also thankful to Dr. Tamboli, sir, for a very nice introduction. Dear student, today we will discuss about how to prepare for GPAT 2021. Let us start with very basic. What is GPAT? Actually, the GPAT is the examination in which the G stands for graduate, P stands for pharmacy, A stands for aptitude, and T stands for taste. Graduate, pharmacy, aptitude, taste is nothing but the GPAT, and it is the national level entrance examination which is conducted by the National Testing Agency. that is NTA. From the year 2018 onwards, the NTA, that is National Testing Agency, is the conducting authority for the GPAT examination. Before 2018, it was conducted by All India Council for Technical Education, New Delhi, and Maharaja Sayajirao University, Baroda was the conducting authority for the GPAT before 2018. Now, this is the examination which is 3-hour computer-based online test. And this test is conducted in a single session only. Now we will move towards the another point. When actually this such type of the GPAT examination is conducted, or how to register for the GPAT examination. Now this National Testing Agency, which is the conducting authority for the GPAT examination, publishes the public notice on their website and at the same time into various leading newspaper in the month of October. Then registration starts in the month of November, and usually it ends in the month of December. Examination is conducted in the month of January, while the result is declared in the month of February. This is the tentative timeline for the GPAT examination. Now, who can appear for the GPAT examination? Actually, this GPAT examination can be given by any bachelor degree holder of an pharmacy. If you have completed your B Pharmacy, at that time you can apply for the GPAT examination. But at the same time, those students are in a final year, such students can also appear for the GPAT examination. There is no as such age restriction for the appearing of our GPAT examination. Now, let us have a very quick review of the how to register for the GPAT examination. Now the website, that is the www.gpat.nta.nic.in, is the official website where the aspirants can register themselves for the GPAT examination. Separate tab is given on the home page of the gpat.nta.nic.in in order to register the student for the GPAT examination. But before the registration, you are required to make sure that you have certain requirements with you. Which are those requirements? If you want to apply for the GPAT examination, at that time, you must have a scanned passport photograph, which is in the form of an either JPG or JPEG. Having size is in between the 10 KB to 200 KB. At the same time, you are required to sign on a blank paper and scan it, and that scan clear signature in a JPG or JPEG format having size in between 4 KB to 30 KB is required for the uploading during the registration for the GPAT examination. Along with that, you are also required to have a valid email ID, because in a future, all the correspondence related to the GPAT examination takes place on this email ID only. At the same time, you are also required to have a valid mobile number, like your email ID only. All the future correspondence will be there on your mobile number. So you have a valid email ID, and at the same time, you must possess the valid mobile number. A valid debit or credit card or at least net banking account is also required, because there is certain fee for the application to the GPAT examination. Tentatively, if you consider regarding the GPAT 2020, it was about 1600 rupees for the unreserved category and for the OBC category. While for the girls, it was 800, and for the another categories also. So in order to make that payment, you must have the either debit or the credit card or the net bank account. And at the same time, you are also required to have a printer which is connected to your system to print your registration details, or after the successful payment, you are required to print that registration paper for your future correspondence. Now, these are the certain cities where you can opt for your GPAT examination. There are many 12 different cities in our Maharashtra where you can appear for your GPAT examination, and that are nothing but the Ahmednagar is one of them, Amravati, Aurangabad, Dhule, Kolhapur, Mumbai, Nagpur, Nanded, Nashik, Pune, Solapur, and Thane. These are the major 12 cities for the GPAT examination. Now we will move towards the next and very important point related to the GPAT examination. Why should I go for the GPAT examination? What I can get if I appear for the GPAT examination? If you appear for the GPAT examination and if you qualify into the GPAT examination, you will be easily got admitted to the postgraduate course like an M.Pharm, M.Tech or MS, which is often a NIPER. If you want to go for the NIPER, at that time, they only allow such a student, those are qualified into the GPAT. Valid GPAT score is required in order to appear for the NIPER joint entrance examination. If you have a valid GPAT score, then and then only you will be able to appear for that NIPER JEE examination. At the same time, one more very important point related to the GPAT examination is you can get a stipend of about 12,400 per month for the 2 years. This is very interesting because the burden upon the parent can be reduced by the student if they are qualified into the GPAT examination, as they get such a stipend. Very attractive stipend is given to the GPAT qualified student. Then some students may say that, sir, I don't want to go for the pharmacy, or I don't want to go for any postgraduate course one. Then why should I go for the GPAT? Here is the answer. Nowadays, the various industries and the academic institutions also giving the preference for the job to the GPAT qualified students only. At the same time, if you are not going for the higher studies, but if you are going for the various government jobs like an government drug inspector or the government pharmacist, at that time, during the preparation of the drug inspector exam or the government pharmacist exam, the preparation of our GPAT is very, very useful. Same sort of the question like that of our GPAT is asked in the drug inspector exam or the government pharmacist examination. Moreover, the self-satisfaction of the student is also a very important thing. If you qualify, if you appear for the GPAT examination and if you get qualified into the GPAT examination, it gives you a sense of a self-satisfaction, because from the first to final year, what you have studied, that can be, as a result of that, you may get qualified into the GPAT examination. So I will recommend to all the students to go for such type of a GPAT examination. Now, what is the exam pattern? We will go very quickly through the exam pattern. Mainly, the GPAT is, as we have already discussed, that it is the online computer-based test, which is often 3 hours with 125 objective type of the questions. Total 125 objective type of the questions are asked into our GPAT examination. Each question carries 4 marks. If total 125 questions are there and each carries the 4 marks, that means 125 into 4, that will come 500. The total marks for the GPAT examination is about 500. For each correct answer, 0 marks is given to the student, 5. For each incorrect response, 1 mark will be deducted from the total score. For the correct answer, 4 marks while for the incorrect response or incorrect answer, 1 mark will be deducted from the total score. That means the negative marking system is there to our GPAT examination. So while solving the answer paper of our GPAT, you are required to be very cautious so that incorrect response will not be given to our question. Unattempted question will be given the 0 mark. If you have not attempted the question, that will be awarded with a 0 mark. There will be no any negative marking for the unattempted question. That means total of an 500 marks examination is there. Each question carries 4 marks. If you give the correct answer at that time, you will get 4 marks for each question, and for the incorrect response, you will get 1 mark to be deducted from your total score. This is the overall exam pattern for the GPAT examination. Now, here is the very important slide. What is the strategy to qualify? If you consider regarding the GPAT 2020, the last year examination, here are the cutoff marks of the various categories. The unreserved category has a cutoff about 163 marks out of 500, and for the economically weaker section, the cutoff mark was 104. For the OBC, it was 131, while for the SC, it was 103, and ST 76. Why I am showing this cutoff marks to you? Because from these cutoff marks, we can get some idea, we can decide some strategy for the GPAT examination to be qualified. Because if you consider the case of an unreserved category candidate, as a cutoff marks for the unreserved category candidate is 163, that means one can easily say that if any student gives the correct answer for the 41 marks, 41 questions, sorry, out of 125 question, if the student gives the correct answer for the 41 question, at that time he will get 41 into a 4, that is 164 marks. That means the strategy for the last examination GPAT 2020 was, if you are able to give the answer of an only 41 question correct, provided that you have not solved any wrong and we are not given any wrong response to the any question, at that time a such student can be get qualified into the GPAT examination. Out of 125 questions, only 41 questions are sufficient, but that is not a case, because it is not possible that all the questions will get right and no one question will be wrong. Here there are the two examples what I have quoted. If a student who have attempted 80 questions, suppose out of 125 questions, if he is able to attain by that student, and out of that 80 question, if he is able to, if the 50 questions are get correct and 30 questions are wrong, for the 50 correct question, he will get 200 as a score. 50 into 4, 200. But because of that wrong 30 answer, the 30 marks will be get deducted from the total score of that candidate. That means net score which is obtained by that candidate will be the 170. And I think this 170 score will be sufficient in order to qualify our GPAT examination. Okay, the score 163, as it was the cutoff marks for the last year examination GPAT 2020, it was quite high as compared to the previous examination. Previous examination, if you see, at that time you can say that there are some examinations where it was 115, in some year it was 125, 130, but last year, that is mainly because of the very easy question paper, it goes up to the 163. That means if such type of an easy question paper is also there, at that time the first case of an attempting 80 question, out of the 50 questions are correct and 30 questions wrong, will also be that will be also possible to get qualified into the GPAT examination. Let us consider about the second case, where that student have attempted 100 questions out of 125. Out of 125 questions. If he has attempted 100 questions, out of that 100 questions, if 80 responses are correct and 20 responses are wrong, at that time the net score which is obtained by that candidate will be 300. And I think this score of 300 is very good score in order to obtain good all India rank. If you consider regarding the last examination only, the student who got all India rank first, all India rank first, the total score or the net score of that student was 315, while all India rank 2 student got 308 marks, when all India rank 3 was 303 marks, while all India rank 4 was obtained 301 marks. That means if you got such a good score, 300 as a good score, you will be easily obtain the all India rank in between the 1 to 10. One can expect for such a candidate that he will have very good all India rank. Okay, these are the very good examples where or with help of that one can decide about the strategy to qualify our GPAT examination. Now here is the very important question. Sir, we know how to apply for the examination and everything is okay, but how to start this examination? Now we will discuss about the certain points related to the syllabus of our GPAT examination. If you consider regarding or if you observe the GPAT syllabus, you can come across almost all the subjects of our 4-year or the 8th semester of the B Pharmacy. Now again, depending upon the various subjects which are there into the syllabus of an GPAT, one can easily classify, one can easily group these subjects into the 2 different groups that are nothing but there are certain basic subjects while there are certain applied subjects. Which are the basic subject? Organic chemistry is one of them. Pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry is there, which is nothing but the basic subject only. Then you can have the physical pharmacy as one of the basic subject. Biochemistry is there, which can also be considered as a basic subject. Microbiology is there, human anatomy and physiology, pharmaceutical engineering is there, dispensing and hospital pharmacy. These are the main 8 different subjects which can be considered as a basic subjects for our GPAT examination. While remaining subjects that are the medicinal chemistry, pharmaceutics, pharmacology, pharmacognosy, pharmaceutical analysis, biotechnology, pathophysiology, biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics, clinical pharmacy and therapeutics, pharmaceutical management, pharmaceutical jurisprudence. These are the subjects which can be considered as an applied subject, because these applied subjects are depend upon these 8 different basic subjects. Now what I will suggest you that as you have already covered these basic subjects, as you already learned these basic subjects during your first year or the second year and the third year, now this is the time where you are required to start reading these subjects firstly and finish them as early as possible. As you have already gone through all these subjects, you have learned all these 8 subjects of an hour GPAT during your first year, second and third year. Go in a detail about these basic subjects so that, or I can say within 2 or 3 months, you should be able to finish this subject as early as possible so that we can move towards the applied subjects. Now, what to study in case of these basic subjects? Now, if you consider regarding the first subject, that is the organic chemistry. Now, in case of an organic chemistry, the various points which are mentioned in the syllabus of our organic chemistry in the GPAT are nothing but the general principles. Now, general principles, what you have studied during your first year or the second year regarding the various types of the bond, that are the sigma bond, pi bond, types of an hybridization. What is hybridization? Sp hybridization, sp3 hybridization, sp2 hybridization. That is required to be again revised by you. At the same time, classes of the compounds like your alkane, alkene, alkynes, you must be able to give the names according to the IUPAC system. Such type of the very basic concept you have to require to again revise. Then aromaticity, like your Huckel rule, which is mainly useful in the determination of an aromaticity and non-aromaticity. You have to again go through such type of an Huckel rule. Then carbonyl chemistry is there. In case of an carbonyl chemistry, you must have studied regarding the various types of an molecular rearrangement reaction. Go through that rearrangement reaction. At least you must be able to say about what are the starting material, what is exactly mechanism that happens within that various rearrangement reaction, and what are the end product of that various rearrangement reaction. Okay, such type of points like again polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, heterocyclic chemistry is there, stereochemistry, pericyclic reaction. All these points you have studied during your first year or the second year and the second year. Those students are from the second year or the first year, please emphasize this point so that it will be helpful for you during your GPAT examination. At the same time, I will suggest some reference books for these points. I think Morris and Boyd, Organic Chemistry, is the very good book for the all these points all related to the organic chemistry. Again, Pinar is there. You have the Advanced Organic Chemistry by the Bahal and Bahal. Then Heterocyclic Chemistry by the R.K. Bansal. Advanced Organic Chemistry by Jerry March, or the reaction mechanism in organic chemistry, which is written by the S.M. Mukherjee and S.P. Singh. That is also a very wonderful book. You can go through any book of from this list and finish your study of your organic chemistry. The next subject, which is again considered as a basic subject of our GPAT, that is nothing but the pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry. The main points which are there in the syllabus of an pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry is nothing but the pharmaceutical impurities. What are the different sources of an pharmaceutical impurities? What are the different limit test for the heavy metal, limit test for the lead, iron, arsenic, then chloride, sulfate, such type of and various limit tests related to your principle. You have to again revise. Monograph, the compilation of the complete information related to this substance. That again you have to go through that. Mainly the monographs related to the sodium citrate, calcium carbonate, copper sulfate, both light and heavy, kaolin, ammonium chloride. These are some substances whose monographs are required to be built in a very detail, because if you go into the various previous question paper at that time, the questions related to that sodium citrate, calcium carbonate, copper sulfates are asked for so many times. Then you must go through the isotopes, identifies the products which are used in order to treat the various dental condition, desensitizing agents, then anti-caries agents. Such type of endpoints are required to be completed or revised once again for the pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry. Let me tell you one very important thing related to the organic chemistry and the inorganic chemistry. Sometimes you may find in our GPAT question paper, there are the very basic questions, which is question of a 12th level only. Such type of the questions are there into our GPAT examination. So go through this organic chemistry and the pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry so that you can obtain a very good score. Now, these are some books which can be referred for the pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry. P. Gundu Rao, this is one of the very important books for inorganic pharmaceutical chemistry. Mainly the third edition is available. You can go through that. Anand Chatwal, inorganic pharmaceutical chemistry book is there. Beckett and Steinleck is there. At the same time, in order to study various monographs, you must take it down from the Indian Pharmacopoeia. From both the edition, you can go for the study of pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry. One more important subject, basic subject I can say, related to the GPAT is nothing but the physical pharmacy. These are the certain points like your composition and the physical states of the matter. You must have able to say about the various points related to the composition and the physical states of matter, like your dipole moment, dielectric constant. Such points you are again required to revise. Various colligative properties like elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point, osmotic pressure, what do you mean by the ideal and the real solution, that is also required to be studied. Thermodynamics, various laws of thermodynamics, the first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, third law of thermodynamics, that is required to be revised once again. Micromeritics, that is also required to be again revised once again. Interfacial and the surface tension phenomenon, rheology, what is meant by the viscosity, what are the different viscometer that is used for the viscosity determination, disperse system, solubility. These are again the point which you are required to go in detail in order to study the physical pharmacy. These are the two important books. I can say Physical Pharmacy by Alfred Martin is one of the very important book as far as concerned with the physical pharmacy. And one more book is there, which is nothing but the Essentials of an Physical Pharmacy by the C.V.S. Subramaniam, which is published by the Vallabh Prakashan. That is again one of the important book. At least you can go with the Alfred Martin for the study of all these points related to the physical pharmacy. This is again one of the important basic subject for the GPAT examination, that is nothing but the biochemistry. Then what to do, what is to be studied in case of a biochemistry? These are some points related to the biochemistry, that is nothing but the cell. In case of a cell, you must be able to say about the what are the functions of various cell components, as there are the different components which are present into the cell, what are the function, what are the structure of these constituents within the cell. You must be able to say about the carbohydrate, what do you mean by the aerobic and the anaerobic oxidation, glycogenesis, glucogenesis, same time lipid, protein, vitamins, enzymes, nucleic acid. These are the some points which are required to be studied during the biochemistry. These are the some books, these are the two books with which you can go for the biochemistry, that is nothing but the Leninger Principle of Biochemistry and the Harper's Illustrated Biochemistry by the Robert Murray. One more book, A.C. Deb is also one more book which is there for the biochemistry. From this book, you can go for the biochemistry. The next subject related to the GPAT, which can also be considered as a basic subject, is nothing but the microbiology. In case of a microbiology, again, go for the revision of an introduction to the microbiology, the contribution of various scientists. You might have studied during your third semester, contribution of various scientists like Anthony Horn, Leeuwenhoek, or the Robert Koch, Louis Pasteur. These are the some scientists. What are their contribution? What are their contribution to the field of microbiology? That is again you have to revise. At the same time, microscopy and the staining technique, that is again very important point related to microbiology, that there are the different types of the microscopes, like your compound microscope, dark field microscope, phase contrast microscope. What is the construction, working, application of this type of the microscope? You have to again go for the revision. Biology of an microorganism, basically mainly the biology of the microorganism like your bacteria is required to be studied. What is the pathogenesis of an Staphylococcus or the Mycobacterium bacteria? Salmonella is there. Regarding that Staphylococcus, Mycobacterium, or the Salmonella, you are required to go in detail in case of an biology of microorganism. In the similar manner, you can go with the fungus, viruses, aseptic technique, sterilization, vaccines, sera, and the microbial assay. Now, these are the main three books which can be used for the study of your microbiology. I think Pelzar is very important book for the study of microbiology. At the same time, Hugo and Russell, Pharmaceutical Microbiology. That is again one of the important book for the tutorial pharmacy by Cooper and Gunn. That can also be one more recommended book for your microbiology subject. Human anatomy and physiology, one more basic subject for the GPAT examination, in which you are required to go with the cell physiology, the various transport mechanisms which are observed in case of a cell, various ion channels which are present upon the cell, the blood in case of an blood composition and the function of the various blood cells like in your RBC, WBC, plate cells, mechanism of clotting, what are the different blood groups, how they are detected. Regarding that, you are also required to again go in detail about the blood. At the same time, you must be able to say something about the gastrointestinal tract or the respiratory tract. What are the different organs that are present into the gastrointestinal tract or the respiratory system? What is the structure of them? What is the function played by these different components of our gastrointestinal tract or the respiratory system, or the autonomous nervous system or central nervous system, skeletal system, urinary system, endocrine glands, reproductive system, cardiovascular system, lymphatic system. What I will suggest you to go for the preparation of a diagram. On a chart, you can make a diagram, draw diagrams of this GIT system or the respiratory system or the urinary system or the cardiovascular system, so that that will be there in front of you, and paste that chart into your study room. Mainly the principles of anatomy and physiology by the Tora. This is a very important book as far as concerned with the human anatomy and the physiology. While Ross and Wilson is again one more mostly recommended book, reference book for the study of this human anatomy and the physiology. Pharmaceutical engineering is one more very important subject related to our GPAT examination, in which you are required to go with the fluid flow, types of flow, what is Reynolds number, what is viscosity in case of a heat transfer. You are required to go with the mechanism of the heat transfer, law of heat transfer, evaporation, concept of a phase equilibrium, what are the different types of the evaporators that are used, distillation, phase diagram, then drying, what is the moisture content, what is the mechanism of drying, that is required to be studied, extraction, size reduction, separation, mixing, crystallization, filtration, centrifugation, industrial hazards like various mechanical hazard or the chemical, electrical, fire, dust, noise hazards are there. You are again required to recall it once again or go through it once again. Okay, such type of different points are required to be studied during the pharmaceutical engineering, and these are the few books which can be referred during the study of pharmaceutical engineering. That is nothing but the Introduction to the Chemical Engineering by the Badger and Panchero, Pharmaceutical Engineering Principle and Practices by the Subramanian, Cooper and Guns by the Tutorial Pharmacy. This is the last basic subject of our pharmacy, which is important as far as concerned with our GPAT examination. That is nothing but the dispensing and hospital pharmacy. Here you are required to study about the handling of a prescription, certain posological calculations, calculations mainly related to the calculation of dosage forms for the infants are required to revise once again, compounding and dispensing, then reading and counseling of the prescription for the clinical practices. These points you can go through the Carter and Cooper and Guns dispensing for pharmaceutical students by CBS Publishers, and the Alton is one more important book as far as concerned with the dispensing and hospital pharmacy. Now moving towards the main topic, that is the applied subjects. Among the applied subject, medicinal chemistry is very important applied subject as far as concerned with the GPAT. Students, I will recommend you, while studying the medicinal chemistry, make a habit that you can study the medicinal chemistry along with the pharmacology, because most of the classes which are mentioned in a medicinal chemistry are same as that of your pharmacology. So try to connect these two subjects, medicinal chemistry and the pharmacology. Some of the points are similar, mechanism of action or the mode of action for both the medicinal chemistry as well as in pharmacology, that will be the same. Such type of points you are required to keep in mind during the study of that medicinal chemistry. Now, in case of medicinal chemistry, what you have to do, you have to go with their classification, mode of action, structure activity relationship of all these therapeutic classes of the compounds or the classes of the drugs. Now, most of the students have a fear in their mind about the medicinal chemistry, as there are the different structures and that are somewhat difficult to recall. So what I will suggest you to go for making the classification, write a classification of, suppose if you take an example of anti-malaria, make a classification or write a classification on one chart related to the anti-malarial drug and try to recall or the try to memorize the basic ring structure. Suppose if in case of an anti-malaria, if you take an example, mostly quinoline are the drugs. Those drugs contain the quinoline as an heterocyclic ring, as in their basic nucleus. So first of all, what you have to do, depending upon the basic knowledge of an organic chemistry, in case of heterocyclic compounds, we have studied about the structure of an quinoline. So once you know the structure of an quinoline, only what you have to do, you have to memorize about the what are the different groups that are attached upon the quinoline groups. In that manner, you can make a chart of an classification of an anti-malarial drug, anti-amoebic agents, anthelmintic agents, then antibacterial sulfa drugs, quinoline antibacterials are there, antimycobacterial drugs are there, antifungal agents are there, antiviral agents are there, thyroid and anti-thyroid drugs are there, anti-allergic agents are also there, anti-ulcer agents are there, proton pump inhibitors, hypoglycemic agent, sedative hypnotics, anti-epileptic agents, neuroleptics, anti-anxiety drugs, antibiotics, steroids. Make a classification of all these drugs and put it on a chart and make it visible for all the day in your study room so that you can easily memorize it. In case of a medicinal chemistry, again, the quantitative structure activity relationship, QSAR, then combinatorial chemistry, these are the two important points. I think from the POE, these are the reference books which can be used for our medicinal chemistry. POE is there, Wilson and Gishold, very important book. Berger Medicinal Chemistry, 6 volumes are there. Then Berger Medicinal Chemistry and the Drug Discovery, 5 volume set is there. Or if you want to go for the combinatorial chemistry or the QSR, one more important book which is written by the PM Kulkarni and KG Botra, entitled as a Drug Design, is very important book as far as concerned with our that combinatorial chemistry and the QSR. The second applied subject for our GPAT examination is nothing but the pharmaceutics, where you are required to go in detail about the introduction to the dosage form. Again, in case of introduction dosage form, go for the classification like an physical, depending upon the physical state, like an solid pharmaceutical dosage form, liquid pharmaceutical dosage form, semi-solid pharmaceutical dosage form. What are the examples of these dosage form? Go in detail about the pre-formulation. In case of an Lachman and the Latchman, they have given very nicely about the pre-formulation, like in your well characterization, solubility analysis, and stability analysis. Go through that pre-formulation chapter: powder, capsule, tablet, parenteral, suspension, emulsion, suppositories, semi-solid, then liquid, pharmaceutical, aerosol. What I will suggest during this study of pharmaceutics is nothing but to go in a detail about the formulation aspect. Not only formulation aspect, but in case of formulation aspect, what you have to do, write about what are the different ingredients that is added during the formulation of that particular dosage form. If you take an example of the tablet, at that time, what are the different ingredients added during the preparation of a tablet are nothing but the diluent is there, at the same time binder is there, disintegrant is there, anti-adherent is there. Suppose, and what you have to do, write down about the examples of these various formula ingredient. What are the different ingredients that can be added as a diluent? What is added as a binder? And try to memorize again, or go on Google or the internet and try to find out which are the marketed trade names for such type of an ingredient. Because most of the time, if you see in the previous GPAT question paper at that time, the trade names of such type of ingredients have been asked. But for example, I think in the last or the in the GPAT 2019, they have asked about which is the trade name for the microcrystalline cellulose. The AVCell was the option one of was the given. So that was the exam answer, microcrystalline cellulose, which is available nowadays as an AVCell by the various pharmaceutical companies. So such type of the information you are required to have with you for the pharmaceutics. At the same time, you are required to study about the stability of the formulated products, the novel drug delivery system, GMP, packaging material, cosmetics, pilot plant scale up. This type of points you are required to consider during the study of an pharmaceutics. Most of the points what you have studied during your third year or the second year or the first year, again go in detail about these points related to the pharmaceutics. Now these are the some of the reference books. Alton is one of the important book for the pharmaceutics. At the same time, you may take a help from the Remington. You may go with the, this is very important books, Theory and Practice of the Industrial Pharmacy. What I will suggest you to go to buy a personal copy of this book, Lieberman Lackman, Theory and Practice of Industrial Pharmacy, because it is very, very important as far as concerned with your pharmaceutics as a GPAT subject. Then Modern Pharmaceutics by the Banker is again one more important book as far as concerned with our this pharmaceutics. Now moving towards the next important subject or the applied subject for our GPAT is nothing but the pharmacology. Mainly the general pharmacology related to the source of a drug, what are the different routes of an administration, receptor, drug receptor interaction, such type of an information you have to again go for the revise detailed pharmacology and classification, mechanism of action and the therapeutic uses of the drugs which are acting upon the central nervous system, cardiovascular system, peripheral nervous system, endocrine system, drugs acting on the urinary system, respiratory system, GIT, chemotherapy, atocoids, chronopharmacology, immunopharmacology, principles of toxicology. What I think some of the points again there into your medicinal chemistry. So try to find out which are the similar point or which are similar topics. I think most of the topics are similar one in case of medicinal chemistry and the pharmacology. Go with that point and connect it in medicinal chemistry and the pharmacology so that it will be very beneficial to you. These are the various reference books which can be used for the pharmacology. I will suggest that go with the Reng and Dell, very important book for the pharmacology. Goodman Gilman is there. KD Tripathi. I think nowadays most of the students are using this KD Tripathi. That is again a very wonderful book for the pharmacology. Go with, if possible, go with the pharmacology and pharmacotherapeutics by the R.S. Satoskar and Bhandarkar. This is very important book as far as concerned with our the pharmacology as one of the very important or the applied subject for the GPAT. Now moving towards the next important subject of our GPAT, that is nothing but the pharmacognosy. In case of a pharmacognosy, what you have to study, you have to again revise related to the introduction to the pharmacognosy. What is the historical development? What is the contribution of a different scientists in the ancient times and in a modern time also? Classification of the crude drugs based upon the either alphabetical classification or the morphological classification or the chemical classification. Taxonomical classification is there, chemotaxonomy taxonomic classification is there. Again, organized, unorganized drugs are there. Go into detail about that classification. Factors influencing quality of the crude drugs, various exogenous factors like our climate and cultivation factors mainly you have to consider regarding that factors influencing the quality of the crude drug. Techniques in microscopy, the plant classification, tannins, volatile oils, glycosides, alkaloids, extraction and isolation techniques, quality control and the standardization of the herbal drugs, the various guidelines which is given by the WHO for the quality control and the standardization of the herbal drug that is required to be studied in case of pharmacognosy. At the same time, herbal formulation. You can connect this herbal formulation with our subject pharmaceutics, herbal cosmetics. Again, the cosmetics is a point in case of an aesthetics. So most of the cosmetics are the same. Only the difference is related to the ingredients which is incorporated during the preparation of these cosmetics. So go in detail about these points related to the pharmacognosy. I will suggest you to go with the values as far as concerned with the microscopy of your drug. Again, taken pharmacognosy by the Brady Taylor or the one more book, Pharmacognosy by C.K. Kokate, Purohit and Gokhale. This is again very important book. Again, I will suggest you to go for the purchase or the buying the personal copy of this Pharmacognosy 42 edition by the C.K. Kokate and the Gokhale. Pharmacognosy by Trijan Evans, Practical Pharmacognosy by K.R. Khandelwal. This is a very important book as far as concerned with the study of an pharmacognosy for the GPAT examination. Pharmaceutical analysis, again, one more important applied subject for the GPAT, acid-base titration. In case of an acid-base titration, I think you must have covered in the first year or the second year only. You are again required to go in a detail about what is definition of an normality, molarity, molality, equivalent weight, what is meant by the primary standard, what is meant by the secondary standard, how the equivalent weights are calculated. Such type of the points you are required to again recall for the pharmaceutical analysis. Non-aqueous titration, definition of an acid and base, as per the various different theories are there. Different theories like your Lowry and Bronsted theory is there, Lewis theory is there, RNS concept is there. With the help of that, you must be able to define about the acid and base. Then oxidation reduction type of the titration, precipitation type of the titration, complex symmetric titration, gravimetric titration, potentiometry. You must go in a detail about this titration, what is the principle involved in that titration. Various part related to the spectroscopy is also there. UV spectroscopy, spectrophlorometry is there. Then flame photometry, IR spectroscopy is there. NMR spectroscopy is also there. Mass spectroscopy is also there. What you have to do, you are required to go in a detail about the principle, instrumentation, working, and applications of these various spectrophotometer. At the same time, you are also required to go in detail about the polarography, nephelotorometry, chromatography. If you want to go for the chromatography at that time, you must consider about the various types of chromatography, right from your thin layer chromatography, HPTLC, high performance thin layer chromatography, HPLC, gas chromatography. Such type of the chromatographic techniques you have to study in case of pharmaceutical analysis. These are some reference books for the pharmaceutical analysis, like anywhere Indian Pharmacopoeia, almost all the editions and the volume, instrumental methods of an analysis by the Willard, introduction to the spectroscopy by Pavia, principles of an instrumental analysis by the Scoop. At the same time, if you want to go for the study of an spectrophotometric identification of the organic compounds by Silverstein, application of the absorption spectroscopy of organic compound by the Dyer, instrumental methods of the chemical analysis by the Kaur, that is again a very important book as far as concerned with your that pharmaceutical analysis. Biotechnology is again important subject related to the GPAT, mainly the plant cell and the tissue culture. In case of a plant cell and tissue culture, you must be able to say about the structure of the plant cell, DNA, what is meant by the genes, what are the different types of the cultures like animal callus culture, suspension culture, batch cultures, animal cell culture, what are the different mediums that is used for the animal culture, what is cell cloning, such type of a basic concept you are required to revise, or you are required to study. Fermentation technology, types of fermentation, the working and construction of the various types of fermenters which are used in a fermentation industry. Recombinant DNA technology, the basic related to the recombinant DNA technology, like an role of an various enzymes like an restriction endonuclease, or the DNA is reverse transcriptase. Such type of the points you are required to study in case of an biotechnology. Biotechnology of the derived product is also required to be studied in case of this subject. The important book as far as concerned with the biotechnology is nothing but the biotechnology by the Satyanarayan, U. Satyanarayan. Textbook of biotechnology by Vass and Dixit. Textbook of biotechnology by R.C. Dubey. These are some of the reference books which can be used during the study of biotechnology. Biopharmaceutics and the pharmacokinetic is again one of the important subject as far as concerned with our GPAT examination, in which you are required to go in a detail about the fate of the drug when that drug is goes into our body, what exactly happens to that drug. You are also required to go in a detail about the absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion, that is the ADME pharmacokinetic parameters of the drug. What is exactly different types of the mechanism for the absorption. You are also required to go in a detail about the bioavailability and the bioequivalence concept and the biopharmaceutical statistic. the best book, but I will recommend you to go with the Brahmankar. This is again very wonderful book, very important book as far as concerned with the biopharmaceutics and the pharmacokinetics. And one more book is there, Biopharmaceutics and the Clinical Pharmacokinetics by the Notary. You can go with either Brahmankar or the Notary, but I think I will suggest you to go with the Brahmankar for the study of an hour biopharmaceutics and the pharmacokinetics. Pharmaceutical jurisprudence is there. Mainly in case of pharmaceutical jurisprudence, the points related to the Pharmacy Act 1948, Drug and Cosmetic Anti-AIDS Act 1940, Drug and Magic Remedies Act, Medicinal and Toilet Preparations, Shops and Establishment Act, Introduction to the Intellectual Property Rights, and Indian Patent Act 1970. As far as my opinion, I think 1 to 3 questions, mostly 1 or 2 questions, are get asked from the pharmaceutical jurisprudence subject. The books which I will recommend you to go for the pharmaceutical jurisprudence are nothing but the textbook of forensic pharmacy by B.M. Mittal, and at the same time, pharmaceutical jurisprudence by Kuchekar is the important book as far as concerned with the pharmaceutical jurisprudence. Okay, so these are the some applied subjects and the basic subjects which are there into our GPAT syllabus. As such, NT has not given any guidelines regarding the weightage of each subject into the GPAT examination. If you analyze the previous year question paper, at that time, one can say that such type of an criteria there is not exist as such there, but one can give a more emphasis upon the applied subject, but no doubt as these applied subjects are mainly depend upon the basic subjects only. So you are required to go into detail about both the type of the subject, that is the basic subject and the applied subject. Now, if you consider the case of an last year examination, GCAT 2020, in case of that examination, pharmacognosy has not given weight, but they have given the more weightage to the pharmaceutical chemistry. And again, in case of pharmaceutical chemistry, the more questions from the organic chemistry was there. Okay, organic chemistry was there. So it depends upon that conducting authority that which subject is to be given a higher weightage. In some question paper or in some examination, you may observe that pharmaceutics has given the higher weightage. In case of GPAT 2019, mainly the pharmacognosy was the subject where the more weightage was given. So one cannot distinguish between the subject that which is the more important and which is the less important subject. But what I will say that go in a detail as far as concerned with all these subjects and make your planning of and study. Now, during the planning of and study, what I will suggest you to go for the micro planning of your study. What you have to do, you have to make your own timetable. What I will suggest you to go for the simultaneous study of the subjects. Means what I want to say that don't take any one subject and go for the 1 week or the 10 days. What you have to do, make your timetable, and within that timetable, suppose you have to allot some period, 3 hours for each subject. If you take the 2 subjects per day, 1 subject in the morning, 1 subject in the evening, in such a manner, depending upon your convenience, you can make your timetable and stick to that timetable. One more important thing, that use at least 2 standard reference books for each subject. The reference books what we have just now saw, these are very good books for all the subjects. Use at least 2 standard books from this list and for the preparation of each and every subject. This is again one more important point. Make a chart, images, and paste it in our study room. Draw your own notes. Make a separate registers or notebooks for your study of an GPAT examination, and then draw your notes so that notes can be used during the time of annual examination to revise all these points related to our all subject. Make annotations in your own book. During the discussion of various reference books, what I was told you that go with your theory and practice by theory and practice of industrial pharmacy by Lieberman Lackman. That book must be with you. At the same time, KD Tripathi must be with you, and C.K. Kokate and Gokhale for the pharmacognosy. That book must be with you. So that if that books are with you at that time, make an annotation, make underline with the help of an either highlighter or the pencil, so that such type of the points are easy to recall during the examination. So such type of the annotations can be made into your own book. At the same time, do not read only MCQ. That is again one more important questions which are asked by the various GPAT aspirants. Sir, if I take the MCQ book and if I go through that, does it work? No doubt it will work sometime, but one cannot give the guarantee. Uh, what I will suggest you that take one or two MCQ books also, but after study of your uh, subjects of the GPAT, then go with the MCQ in order to know what type of the questions are asked in case of an MCQs. So do not read only MCQ, read it from the reference books, and then after, in order to practice it or in order to analyze self analysis, go with the such type of an MCQ books. Take online or the offline mock test. There are different mock tests are available. If you go on to the internet, you will come across various online or the offline mock test. It will be helpful for the simulation of an environment of an your examination, so that such type of and taking the online or the offline mock test will really beneficial for the during the study of an your GPAT examination. And at the same time, I will recommend you to go for the taking the assistance from the all the concern, like from your peer, from another student, or from your senior, from the teachers, so that your study will get facilitated for your GPAT examination. GPAT examination. Some more important points related to the GPAT examination. These are the points which are required to be used during actual study of an your actual appearing for the or actual solving of your GPAT question paper. Read and understand the questions properly before glancing over the answer option. That means what? What you have to do? You have to read carefully only the question and understand what exactly they want. Read and understand the question properly. Once you have once you have read and understand the question properly, then think logically about the answer of that question. Okay, after reading and understanding the question, think logically about the answer of the question. Don't rush towards the option of your question. Once you have thought logically, then and then only go for the option and see whether the question, whether the answer which is arising in your mind is there in option or not. Because such type of the strategy is required to be followed not only for the GPAT examination only, but for all the examination wherever there is this such type of an MCQ questions. Now again, one more important point. It is best to stick with the answer you first choose after reading the question. 99% studies have shown that the answer which arises in your mind after reading the question, that intuition is very, very important. Now, once you have selected any one answer, and if you go with the another option, at that time there may be chances that you may get confused with the another option and the answer which is already you have selected, and there may be deviation from the correct answer. So what I will suggest you to go for, stick to the answer which you first chose after reading the question. I think upon the internet also there are so many papers saying this type of a statement that you can best to stick with the answer which you firstly choose. Again, one more important point related to the GPAT examination is nothing but solve the paper in a round system. Means what? What you have to do when you start your GPAT examination, at that time in the first round, solve such a question that you feel easy and there is no chances of an going wrong. Only such a type of the questions you have to solve. Confidently, if you are able to answer this question, such type of the questions you have to solve. If such type of the questions are about 50 or the 60, at that time one can get a relax that one can say that you will get a very good all India rank. And in a subsequent round, be more cautious as the wrong answer will take you a step back in a subsequent round. Firstly, go for the solving of answer question which are confident, which are easy to you. Once you have finished, because in case of an online computer-based test, there is a chance you can skip that question and move towards the next question. So such type of an moving towards the next question can be carried out, and you can go up to the end so that all the easy questions are solved in a first round. Or at the same time, you can go for the using of an that flag option. Flag option is there. With the help of that flag option, you can flag a particular question that, suppose if there is the confusion in between only two answer, if there is the confusion in between only two options, such type of the questions can be flagged, and later on, because in a 180 minutes you have to solve 125 questions. That requires somewhat fast speed. Okay, so such type of a round system you have to go with the round system, and in a subsequent round, be more cautious as a wrong answer will take you step back if you are not confident at all, if you don't uh, able to recall that concept, if there is any question which is not studied you by at all, at that time it is best to skip that question. It is kept as an unanswered because that's not going to harm you more, because if you give the wrong answer at